Marcus has $47 in his checking account. It's a Tuesday. He knows 3 people who could help him right now. One of them offered 2 weeks ago. He said he was fine. He is not fine. He's sitting in his car outside a Walgreens at 7 p.m. He already did the math inside. He can get the cough medicine for his son or the groceries, not both. He sits there for 6 minutes. He doesn't call anyone. He goes back inside and puts the cough medicine back. He buys the groceries. He drives home. He tells his wife everything is under control. There's a version of Marcus most people see. Competent, reliable, the one who figures it out. He's been that person for so long he can't remember choosing it. He shows up. He handles things. He doesn't complain. When something breaks, he fixes it himself. When he can't fix it, he waits until he can. Asking never enters the equation. It's not that he forgot it was an option. It's that it stopped feeling like one. He grew up watching his father do the same thing. Not from a place of strength, from a place of damage. His father worked a job he hated for 31 years. Never asked for a raise. Never asked for help. Never let anyone see him struggle. And he called that pride. Marcus absorbed it like a second language. He never studied it. He just started speaking it. By his mid-20s, he had a full vocabulary. I've got it. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. These weren't lies exactly. They were armor. And armor works until the weight of it starts slowing you down. Here's what most people miss about Marcus. He's not too proud to accept help. He's afraid of what it means to need it. Those are different things. Pride says, I'm better than asking. Fear says, if I ask, something true about me becomes visible. Marcus has carried that second one for 20 years. He just called it pride because it sounded better. The bill for that cough medicine would have been $11. He had 3 people who would have covered it without blinking, but he spent 6 minutes in a parking lot doing math alone because being known as someone who needs help felt worse than the problem. That's not a character flaw. That's a learned survival pattern, and it has a name. Psychologists call it self-concealment. It's the tendency to hide personal information that feels negative or distressing, not just from others, but from yourself. Marcus doesn't think of himself as someone who hides things. He thinks of himself as someone who handles things. The difference between those 2 stories is everything, because handling it alone, every time, isn't resilience. It's isolation with better branding. Research on financial stress is pretty clear on this. Social support doesn't just help emotionally, it changes outcomes. People with strong financial support networks recover from setbacks faster. Not because someone hands them money, because they're not burning all their energy holding the weight alone. Marcus is smart enough to know that, but knowing something and letting yourself do it are not the same thing. The turn came on a Thursday in March. Marcus's coworker Dion asked him straight up, "Are you good?" And I mean actually good, not the thing you say. Marcus almost said the thing he always says. He could feel it in his throat. Instead, he just stopped. And after a few seconds, he said, "No, I'm not." That's it. That's the whole scene. No dramatic breakdown, no tearful confession, just 3 words that broke 11 years of habit. Dion didn't offer to fix everything. He asked what was actually going on, and Marcus told him, not everything, just enough. And something shifted that he didn't expect. Not relief, exactly. More like a pressure he didn't know was there started releasing. What Marcus realized over the next few weeks was this. He had built his whole financial identity around not needing help. Not needing more, not needing anything from anyone. He thought that was the same as being strong. It wasn't. It was the same as being alone. Every time someone offered and he refused, he sent a message. Not to them, to himself. You're the kind of person who handles it alone. And then to keep being that person, he had to handle it alone. Even when it cost him more. Even when it made things harder. Even when the math didn't work. Because changing that story meant looking at why he built it. And that felt scarier than $47. He started small. He didn't overhaul his life. He made one different choice. His sister offered to help him cover a car payment he was behind on. He had turned her down 3 times in the past month. The 4th time he said yes. She didn't make it weird. He made it weird briefly, in his own head. Then it passed. He paid her back 6 weeks later. That part mattered to him, not because she expected it, because it changed the shape of the story. It wasn't charity. It was a bridge, one he let himself use for the first time. It didn't stop there. He started noticing every time he said, "I'm fine," before checking if it was true. He noticed how often it wasn't. He started asking questions he used to find embarrassing. He asked his brother how he handled car insurance. He asked his manager about a raise. He looked up a financial counselor through a free community program. None of these things announced themselves as big decisions. They just felt like small, unfamiliar movements. Like using a hand you'd been keeping in your pocket. Awkward. Slightly uncomfortable, but functional. Here's what I want you to sit with. Not asking for help is not neutral. It has a cost. Every time you go quiet when you could speak, that costs something. Every time you say, "I've got it," when you don't, that costs something. Every time you let pride or fear or the story you built about yourself override the math, that costs something. And those costs don't announce themselves. They just stack up, quietly, invisibly, until they're the reason you're stuck. I'm not telling you the asking is easy. I know it's not. If you built your identity around not needing, the needing feels like a collapse. It isn't. It's just a door you haven't walked through yet. The people who helped Marcus, they didn't think less of him. Most of them were relieved because they had been watching him hold the wall up alone for years, and they were waiting for him to let them in. Here's the one thing. Think of one person who has offered to help you in the last 60 days. Someone you said no to, or avoided, or told you were fine. Today, reach back out to that person. You don't have to explain everything. You just have to say, "I think I actually could use that help." That's it. One sentence, one door. That's where this starts.